Boy, that applause sounded like it was in a tunnel, didn't it?
Well, kind of like everything else we do. It's in
Yeah.
the toilet.
Toilet or a tunnel, we can't decide. Well, everybody, welcome once again. You are listening to Geek Fies, the official podcast of Hey, there's nothing else on TV. Might as well do this. And speaking of nothing else to do, your host, Morph.
Welcome, everybody, to Geek Vice, episode number 107, proving that any vice with enough geek in it becomes a virtue. I'm Morph. That guy over there's Kip. How you doing this evening, Kip?
I am doing reasonably well. I only have one more work day for the rest of the year, and that's
Oh,
tomorrow.
nice. I have 2 or 1.5 work days left. So I got to go into work. I'm at least going to go into work for part of the day on Wednesday. Depending on how much stuff I get done tomorrow, depends on how much of Wednesday I'm there for. So
And then you're off the rest of the year.
I am off for the rest of the year. It's there's a downside, or well, I don't know if it's a downside. There's one of the benefits of working for a company that is ridiculously large is that each department has a budget that they are held to pretty strictly, and people are always paying attention to the bottom line. Well, the department I am in is slightly over budget, and so they said, don't come into work in between Christmas and New Year's. Take PTO on those days. Okay. You know what? If you're going to tell me not to come into work, I'm not going to come into work. I'm okay with that.
They didn't have to twist your arm too much.
No. I was good with it. I've got plenty of stuff to go in there and do, but they said don't do it. So you know what? I'm okay with that.
Excellent.
I'm gonna enjoy that week. I don't exactly know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to enjoy it doing something. Actually, I do know one thing I'm going to be doing. We will be going to see Star Wars that week. I'm going to take the whole family, and we're going to go see Star Wars probably at like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, so that I hope we don't have to stand in line for 2 hours to get into the theater.
Well, you got to buy your tickets in advance, or you just don't know when you're going to go, and you're just going to have to play it by ear.
I'm gonna buy my tickets in advance, but I will probably buy it. Like, I'm probably not going to buy them until later this. Well, I can't buy them too much. I guess pretty soon I'll be able to buy them because they don't typically. Well, I don't know. With Star Wars, I think they might make some exceptions, but they don't always have the schedules posted the next week after new releases are going to be coming out on Friday again. So I'm sure that'll change up which theaters are playing Star Wars or how many theaters.
Yeah, I'm sure most theaters, probably give all of their, I guess, efforts into making sure Star Wars is in as many theaters as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you won't have any problems.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought. So we'll go. I've heard lots of good things. I know that you have gone and seen it twice now, right?
Just once.
Just once.
I do have tickets for Christmas Day, so that will be my second time. We went at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Which is usually, normally they don't even show movies that early, and there's the parking lot's empty and all that stuff. Not this time. 9 o'clock in the morning, the lot was almost completely full. There was a shit ton of people, which is a scientific measurement, is shit ton. And yeah, it was a big theater. It was full. It was awesome. You're going to love this movie. I guarantee it.
Awesome. I've heard lots of good things. I don't know anything because, and this is kind of the weird thing. Usually, when you talk to people about a movie that they've seen recently, they're all excited to tell you everything about the movie. However, every person that I've talked to that has seen this movie refuses to give any details about the movie. all they say is you are going to be pleasantly surprised, and you are going to be you're going to be excited for it. Like, you're going to have fun watching this movie. But they won't tell me anything about the plot or anything that's going on, and I find that intriguing, because that means this movie has taken a whole different stance than any other movie. This movie has become so popular and so understood of being that not everybody is going to be able to see it opening day who wants to see it opening day, that there's not a lot of people talking about what's going on with it. Maybe I'm just reading the wrong posts, but a lot of the ones that I'm reading, they're like, yep, we're not going to give you any spoilers for a while. So if you want spoilers, don't come here.
Well, and that, I think it's twofold. One of it is the fan base realizes that this is an event; it's not just a movie release.
Yeah.
So they don't want to spoil it for anybody else, which is a testament to the fan base. And I think the other part of it is there's been so much buildup, so much hype that nobody, fan or not, really wants to screw it up for anybody else.
Yeah.
And which is nice. Well, part of the movie was spoiled for me. I was flipping around Google Plus, and there was if it was in text, I wouldn't have saw it, but it was a picture meme, and I saw it and went, oh, fuck, I hope that's not true. And it ended up being true. It's like, well, they spoiled it for me, but I didn't really care. But, so you got to be really careful if you don't want any kind of spoilers whatsoever, because I'm really not on the internet that much lately because of my travel schedule, and I still had it spoiled for me.
Yeah, and some of it might just be the places that I'm going. My Facebook feed has not been inundated, or if it was, I didn't see it. I don't surf social media as much as some people. My Twitter feed is pretty congested with all kinds of stuff that I know I'm not looking at everything that comes across there. I only see what's been done in like the last 15, 20 minutes when I get on there, and I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff. So, I'm also the type of person, though, that if someone were to come up and tell me the whole story to the movie, I'd still buy a ticket and go sit in the theater to go see this movie. So, spoiling things for me is pretty difficult to do because I don't really care, and I have such a short memory. I'll forget whatever happened anyway. So
it's a hell of a lot of fun, and they don't waste any time. I mean, the movie starts and it starts. I mean, you're right in the middle of it immediately. And so any spoiling that did happen, like it did for me, it just the ride is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's not the best movie I saw the year, but it's freaking Star Wars.
Is it the best Star Wars movie you've seen in over 20 years?
Yeah. Yeah. That's low hanging fruit, but yeah. It may be the second best Star Wars movie.
Wow. And that you're not the first person to say that too. I've heard a lot of people say that this movie was top notch and way up there, and so I'm stoked. I'm excited to take. We asked the kids today at dinner if they wanted to go see the new Star Wars movie, and the 3-year-old was like, "Yeah, I want to go see it." And Reese, my oldest one, is just looking at me, like looking at his mom, just nodding, like, "Yep, I want to go."
He's a little more cool about it.
Yeah. So just like, oh, this is going to be fun. Both kids, I think, are super excited, and I'm kind of excited to take them to go see a movie that kind of if they hit what they want to hit with this movie, then this is going to be a movie that sets the tone, or is the original Star Wars for this generation. And my kids are right at that age. This is going to be very impactful for them if it turns out to be that good. So
I think it is. You know, not very often you go into a movie that is this hyped
yeah,
and walk out going, it lived up to the hype, and it did. I was pleasantly surprised because this could have gone sideways, and it did not. It was done not to perfection, but as close as you can get, really.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's that thing. It's the Star Wars thing. You're sitting there, and then the screen just goes black, and it says in a galaxy, you know, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and the hair in the back of your neck stands up, and you're like, oh yeah, and then you know, John Williams music starts, and you can hardly contain yourself. It's that cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, you know, we'll probably leave the Star Wars talk there. We will. But before Kip over there starts just reciting the entire movie and gets all of our fans pissed off because they haven't seen it yet. So there you go, guys. You've got about 2 weeks. You've probably got about 2.5 weeks to go see this movie before you
New Year's Day. Year's Day, all bets are off.
Once we hit 2016, we will do an episode where we break this down, since this will be a movie we've both seen in the theater. We will talk about it, and we've had a couple people suggest that we have a couple of guests on to discuss this as well. The Prolific Games guys want to come on and discuss this, and they have asked for our soulless ginger, Trevor, to come on. So, Trevor, if you're listening to this, we will be contacting you to see if you are interested in facing off with the Prolific Games battle of what is the better, or why the last 3 Star Wars movies were not good.
Yeah, we could make a drinking game out of that episode, I think.
I plan on having multiple beers sitting on my shelf while that episode's going, because you and I aren't going to have to do a whole lot of anything except maybe play referee.
We're just going to have to, you know, introduce the combatants and then just sit back and relax.
Yeah, we'll have to break out the special effects or the sound effects for that one, and see if we can get some like whistle or a bell. Is there a bell in the sound effects? That could work.
There's that. There's going to be a lot of this.
Or better yet, we get the every bad thing that Trevor says is going to get the gong.
And then if you say something really stupid, we'll do this to you.
There you go. We're going to throw the stash on. Although I don't think that won't work for Trevor or John, since both of them have full beards.
That's true. We'll just do like the party hat.
Yeah, we'll have to do something else.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be good.
This one right here.
There you go. I like it. I like it.
Or this.
Even better.
Where is it? Come on. There it is. Oh, sexy right there.
So yeah, all of you guys listening to this on the podcast and not on the video feed, we're not getting any of those joyous Google effects that Kip was using. So Kip, you saw Star Wars, and then you had a problem with stars?
Okay, so Amazon Prime now has the deal where you can get stars through them on a subscription basis.
Okay.
Which is fantastic because there are some great shows on Stars. And I do not subscribe to it on my Google Fiber. So I thought this is a pretty good way to do it. It's not too expensive. It's like $7.99 or something like that. It's pretty cheap.
Okay.
So I signed up, and of course, the first thing you have to do is watch Ash versus the Evil Dead. I mean, that just goes without saying. You have to knock that out first, which no complaints there. They had all the episodes. If you get a chance to watch that show, highly recommend it.
Okay.
We can do a review on that sometime, but right now, let's just get on with the stars problem. So the next thing is like, you know what? We watched season 1 of Black Sails. It's fantastic. Let's watch season 2 of Black Sails. So go to the little menu thing for Black Sails, and it has the first season, and then it has the second season. I click on it, and I realize it's not the second season, except for in title only. It is a look into each episode of season 2. So there are 3-minute snippets.
Oh, no.
It's like, you know what? I fucking pay $8 a month to have stars, and this is the bullshit you pull? Not cool.
Yeah. That's awful. Well, and that's frustrating because the season 2 has finished with that, hasn't it?
A long time ago. Yeah, like
that,
I think it finished like in May or something.
Oh, that's really not good. Yeah, they're already season 3. Season 3 starts January 23rd.
Yep. So they fucking dropped the ball on that one, in my opinion. I don't know why they're doing it. Maybe there's a reason for it, but it's their original programming.
They
put it in place so people will subscribe to their service, and then they do the shit like that.
Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if part of what they're doing here is they will wait till season 3 starts. So, after the first of the year, maybe. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if right after the first of the year, season 2 becomes available streaming, and then it would allow the longest time possible for people to purchase the DVDs, because that's where they're really going to make more money than people just streaming the content. But it just goes back to, this is part of the problem. People are not realizing, that companies are not realizing that streaming services are an asset, and that if you leverage them correctly, they can actually give you more content, or give you more eyeballs watching your stuff, so you can tell advertisers that this stuff is there, or for you to advertise your own stuff so that people go out and buy it. But they're not doing that. They're not using that stuff that way, and it's sad to see it.
Well, it's weird because they have a lot of original programming on there, and everything else we checked, full episodes. The Black Sails, for some reason, season 2, not there. And I'd like your idea of once season 3 starts, but don't you think you'd want people to get to season 2 now, which would make them want to keep stars when season 3 starts?
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yeah,
I would think so. So what it did is it caused us to check out another show that they have as their original programming, called Flesh and Bone. And it's basically about this woman who is like in this prestigious ballet company in New York, and the trials and tribulations that she's going through, because she's a newcomer, and they realize this chick's a star, and we're going to have to rethink our whole season and base it around this woman. And the it's dark, but it's good.
No.
I mean, we were watching the third episode last night, and we're like, I just want something good to happen for this girl. Just once, I want to see her smile. That would be awesome. But,
Oh man.
because of Black Sail's unavailability, we discovered this show, which we're liking quite a bit. So it wasn't all bad. I just still can't figure out what the fuck. Why isn't Black Sail season 2 on there?
Yeah, there you go, stars. Why?
Yeah,
Listen up. Why?
so that's
Why
my-
do you not have it on there?
That's my not so ranty rant about where the hell is Black Sail season 2.
Well, and that's good to know that Amazon. You said that's through Amazon Prime that you were able to get that subscription.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
They've got quite a few things you could subscribe to. I think Showtime might be one of them.
Really?
And then there's just some little, I don't know what you'd call them, side projects, we'll say,
Right.
Smaller venues that you can subscribe to. Like a few of them are like horror movie only kind of things, and one of them is like nothing but fitness workouts and things like that. So they're giving you options.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna cut the cord, perhaps there's a venue you can look into.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that because as of midnight tonight, so we're recording this on 9 o'clock on a Monday night. In 2.5 hours, I will be officially cord cutted. So there, our satellite will be turned off and unavailable as of midnight tonight. So we have gone officially without cable, without satellite, no TV. But what we've done is, and part of the reason that stemmed this was for Christmas, my wife and I decided that we weren't going to get any gifts for each other. We were just going to replace the TV in our living room. And the TV in our living room we purchased in 2004. It is not a high def TV. It was not a flat panel TV. It was an old CRT, big massive tube TV. It weighs about 1,000,000 pounds. Is pretty much what it comes down to. And it sat in this gigantic armoire, and we have so. What was it? Wednesday? Was it last Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was. Last Wednesday, I got home to a new TV hung up on, mounted on the wall with a Roku 3 box hardwired into my router and a amplified digital antenna to pick up over-the-air television channels, and it was all done when I got home from work. Had no idea it was being done. My wife was awesome and surprised me with that, which I thought was great. It's kind of nice not having to do it. I was planning on doing it anyway, but she talked to some guys from her work who do this stuff for a living, and they had some free time, so they came out and took care of it. Moved my electrical box and a hardwired an Ethernet port, a data port, into the wall so that I didn't have to. So I don't have any cords running behind the TV. Everything is nice and tucked right behind the TV, and they set it up perfectly. Right now, we ran the program to pick up the channels. We get over 30 HD channels right now. We get 30 HD channels without paying a dime.
That's living.
We get ABC, we get NBC, we get CBS, we get Fox, PBS. There's a few other channels that are local that I have no idea. UPN, I think, or The Spot, or whatever it is. 38, 50, 29. and then we also get, there's actually a few shopping channels that we get as well, which I was really kind of surprised at. We get a couple QVC channels, which I did not realize those are broadcast over the air, but apparently they want people who can't afford cable to spend and waste money on junk on TV too.
Hey, you're not spending money on cable. You can buy this laptop.
Yeah, exactly. But we kind of took our first, we've got a Roku 3 hooked up to it. It's hardwired in, so we could pull all of our movies. The movies, I'm in the process of converting movies now to be on the MP4 format, because a lot of them were AVI. And but the kids watched. We turned on Hotel Transylvania on Wednesday night, and it started up instantly. This was a movie that I had on the hard drive and just found it on the Roku, hit play, and within seconds, before I could set my remote down, it was playing. It didn't take any time to buffer. It never paused or glitched or anything like that. It ran super fast, which was amazing. Turning on Netflix, running Netflix through either the Roku or the you run it through the Xbox, and it takes a long time for Netflix to load up. Running it through the other Roku boxes that I have, where it's done wirelessly, it takes a good little while. You hit the button to turn on Netflix, and you can set the remote down, and I can flip open my tablet and pick which comic book I want to read, and then Netflix will be loaded up. On this new TV with the Roku wired in, I can't even set the remote down before Netflix is queued up and waiting for me to pick what show I want to watch. That is just awesome. That is incredible. I love it. I can't recommend it enough. I am enjoying it. We also got our first test of watching sports on TV over the weekend without satellite, because we turned on the Chiefs game. We watched the Chiefs game, and then we watched the Broncos game on this gigantic 55-inch flat panel TV with the amplified digital antenna. And the games were so clear, I didn't need my glasses on to read the score.
That's pretty good.
Like, it was incredible. I was just shocked with how crystal clear it was and how high def it looked. I've got a 42-inch down in my basement that I usually watched. That's what I usually watch sports on, especially if it was just me watching the game, because it was a big TV and I liked watching it in high def. It's got nothing on the over-the-air high def. That's almost clearer than coming through the satellite. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the companies are doing. But if you're not interested in spending money on a cable subscription of some sort, I definitely recommend checking out the over-the-air stuff. Look into a digital antenna. It's super simple to put up. It just hooks up to your TV, and the antenna for mine is just mounted right to the wall behind my TV. That's all it is. It's just a small circle that's probably about the size of it's a little bit smaller than a dinner plate, and just hooks up right to the back, hooks up to the wall. Just, I don't know if it's pinned up to the wall or how it's connected to the wall, but it's just on the wall. I don't have to do anything with it.
That's too bad. I was hoping tinfoil on it, but I guess we'll go with the smaller than a dinner plate thing. I guess I'll just have to live with it.
Yeah. Well, I kind of expected having to, honestly, when I heard that sometimes over-the-air channels, in order to get the most out of them, or just to be able to pick them all up, because the signal deteriorates the farther away from the places you get. And I don't live real close to downtown where a lot of these stations are. You all right?
Yeah, you kind of froze there for a sec.
Froze. I froze. But So what I was saying was that needing an antenna is fairly common when you're not living close to where these things are broadcast. The farther away you get, the harder it is to pick up these signals. Well, I expected, back in the day when before these digital things, when you had to hook up your antenna, you needed an antenna on the roof, and then you had to run cabling down to all your TVs. At least that's the way my parents had it all run in order to watch for us to watch TV because we didn't have a cable subscription. And so I kind of expected to have to do something like that to my house. I was really kind of shocked that no, it just hooks directly for that just one TV, and it's not rabbit ears or anything like that. It's just hides behind the TV. Nobody ever sees it, and nobody ever knows it's there. But it works.
That's pretty cool. I've talked about how awesome it would be to be able to get rid of cable but still watch what I want to watch, which is like I think the American dream right now.
Yeah.
But my problem is I need the Big Ten Network and some other stuff for me to be able to cut the cord. And right now, their own subscriptions, or you can't even get them at all. I know you can get a Big Ten subscription, but it doesn't show you any of the stuff you want to see. It's
Right.
more what I'd call a secondary sport because football's the primary, in my opinion. So it's kept me from cutting the cord at all. Maybe one day that'll all change, and then I can watch all my Nebraska football games that I want. But at this point, not for me. But I'm hoping it works out great for you. We'll have to keep, checking in on how you feel about it as the time goes by.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some points. Right now I don't have ESPN. I don't have NBC Sports. I don't have Fox Sports right now. I am looking at. I know there is a way to get ESPN through Sling TV, which is only $20 a month. But then I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna do some looking and see what else I can find though, because there's definitely there. I know there's tons of stuff out there, and
isn't there an ESPN app on Xbox?
There is, however, you need the Watch ESPN app, is I think what you're talking about. In order to use that one, though, you have to have a cable subscription with a certain provider, with a certain internet provider. So
that blows.
Because I didn't have access to that app with DirecTV either. DirecTV was not one of their special promoters or whatever you want to call it. So, but just looking at the different channels that are available on the Roku, there's a bunch of stuff out there that are for streaming sports. Some of them, like I'm a big soccer fan. There's MLS Live. It's subscription based, so I got to look and see how much that costs and what the blackout rules are, because that's kind of the big thing too. But for the most part, the sports that I like to watch, or the teams that I like to watch, not necessarily the sports, but the teams I like to watch are local teams. I'm a big fan of the Chiefs. Chiefs all play here locally on CBS or Fox. Very rarely are they playing on, well, especially now. I think they're done with Monday night games. But even then, because they're so popular locally, CBS usually works out a deal to be able to show those games as well, even if they're on ESPN. And the same with Sporting Kansas City, the soccer team that I like here in Kansas City. Their stuff is all broadcast on 38 The Spot, which is another local channel. So I should be able to get all those or most of those games.
Okay, so what is your setup right now? You've got the HD antenna.
Uh-huh.
You have Netflix?
I do. I've got Netflix. I've got Amazon Prime, so I've got Amazon Instant Video. And let's see here. What else am I using here? I'm pulling up my Roku channels. Um, I'm trying. Where's that? Where's that? We've got. Um, I've got Hulu installed, but I think I think Hulu now charges. I don't know that it's all for free. So I got to look into that a little bit. Um, and then I've got a PBS Kids for the kids to watch. We've got Nick and Nick Jr. for the kids to watch. Um, but other than that, that is pretty much it as far as what I'm using to watch stuff. And then I um, find the shows through streaming services like CBS.com streams all their stuff. Like they'll stream their recent shows. I think they go like 3 episodes back. Um, Same thing with ABC, and those are free streaming. Like they're available for free, and so you can get those. I think I'm not sure if NBC. I haven't done that one yet, but I think NBC does the same thing where they've got a couple of episodes back. And then, of course, whenever you can't find something on a streaming service that's available, I go download it, put it on my hard drive, and watch it that way. So
it doesn't sound like you're missing out at all, really, other than the
yeah,
mindless activity of just surfing the net.
yeah, just
That's
flipping channels. I don't have the ability to flip channels. Well, I do because I can just flip it to the TV and I can watch my local channels, which still has junk on them, just like every other channel on cable. So
300 channels and there's nothing on.
yeah, as far as I know, I don't feel like I'm missing anything yet. Now, we haven't had it for very long. I mean, we've kind of not been watching the satellite for probably about a month. We kind of kept it running just in case, kind of seeing how it would go. And really, we haven't felt like we've missed it at all. But on the same side, I don't watch nearly as much TV as I used to either. With everything going on and all that stuff, I try to keep up on shows, but right now I'm watching past episodes of The Blacklist, which are actually all available on Netflix. I was watching Jessica Jones, which was all available on Netflix. And there's a good chance by the time I get caught up on all that stuff and start watching shows again, like trying to get caught up on Arrow or The Flash, that stuff's going to be up on either Hulu or Netflix, or the CW might have a streaming service as well. I don't know. I got to look for that one. So that's kind of the nice thing. Right now I don't feel like I'm missing anything, but yeah, I'll keep an eye out on it. I'll let you guys know for sure. Bueller, did you freeze? Oh, and I think we lost him. But we're still live, and he's jumping right back in like he's not missing a beat. Kip, are you there? Are you there, Kip?
I'm there now.
Whoa, look at that. It's like, see, we didn't even know you were gone. I just kept rambling and talking, and then all of a sudden you weren't there.
Now I'll have to see what the recording comes out like.
Yeah, I'm curious. It said I was still live, so.
Yeah, mine, I thought you froze, and then I looked down and it said I had no connectivity, and it's like, no, that's not cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go on an episode sometime where I rant about how Google Fiber is not all what it's cracked up to be.
So the one channel that I'm looking to actually add, now that I'm not paying the over $100 a month for satellite, is Sling TV. This is the one I'm looking at, and right now, see, Sling TV is a on demand for $20 a month, featuring ESPN, AMC, HGTV, TNT, Disney, and more. So there you go.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's getting to where it's more and more options out there. So sooner or later, it's going to be where everybody's going to be able to have the choice to cut their cord or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still watch a hell of a lot of regular TV, we'll call it channel surfing.
Yeah.
But we do watch a lot of the services, Netflix, Amazon Prime, things like that. So the tide is even turning at my house. So if it turns at my house, then you really know it's done something.
Well, and you know, I know your wife is big in the WWE, and you know that's a streaming service as well. Now it's a subscription, and that's the thing, that anyone who cuts the cord, and they're cutting the cord because of trying to save money, that's something they're going to have to watch out for, because once you start adding in all these streaming services, there's a good chance you're going to start paying more than what you were paying before if you start adding all this stuff in. However, you know, something that HBO has more than accepted is the fact that, you know, you could split the cost of some of this stuff over multiple, you know, families or multiple people, and share your login and password, and then you both could stream stuff. I know a lot of people who use their mom's HBO Go account because they have HBO subscription. You know, they have HBO on their cable subscription, but HBO Go uses uses the login from that internet provider or that cable subscription. So somebody else who doesn't have a cable subscription can watch HBO Go while the other one's watching it on the live television. I mean, there's lots of that stuff out there now too. So if you know the right people, you can pretty much find anything.
This is a true statement. But you are right. You really have to watch how many streaming services you're paying for. Next thing you know, you're paying even more.
Yeah.
And another thing you have to watch out for, like you were talking about the WWE streaming service.
Yeah.
It's not that great.
Yeah.
You get the pay-per-view stuff, but you don't get the weekly episodes, or I guess it's on twice a week.
Yeah, and some of that right now is because it's the same problem. The Major League Baseball, actually, I think baseball might actually have it right, because I think they own all the rights to that stuff, but the NFL does not. The NFL cannot stream their services, their games on their NFL Network channel, on their NFL streaming service.
Yeah, because they have too many lucrative TV contracts out there that they cannot afford to give up.
Yeah, well, when they made those deals, they didn't include or exclude the streaming, the internet rights. MLB has done that, so like some of the local channels here, I believe it's 610 Sports here, has the radio rights for the Royals games, but their 610 app that basically allows you to stream their live content onto, digitally, they are not allowed to broadcast the Royals games through that. So you have to actually turn it on to 610 on the radio dial, and you can't access it through the internet. So I think you're going to start seeing that stuff parceled back out. You're going to start seeing the NFL in the next TV contracts. They're going to be trying to get that stuff back for themselves so that they can then use their NFL, streaming service. Same thing. ESPN's going to try to fight against that. And if they don't figure out that they can make this available without a cable subscription, then they're going to miss out. And that's what's going to cause some of these other companies to lock that stuff up and get it away from them.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance for especially for the NFL because there is so much money involved here.
Yeah, but
You know,
the
ESPN and ABC are they're the same company, but
yeah.
NBC they've thrown a lot of money at the NFL for the rights to show their games, and that's
Yeah.
a tough one to give up.
Well, and that's the thing though. Like do you think one of those TV stations is not going to throw that money at them because the NFL wants to keep the streaming rights so they can put the games on their digital channel? I mean, or better yet, the NFL says, okay, well then if you are going to show my game on your let's say CBS, you're going to show it on CBS. I want all the other games that you have rights to that no one else can show to be available on your streaming service because CBS has a streaming service. Like they have a website where you can stream their content from there.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that I think is going to start getting worked out as contracts in the future start coming up because of people like myself and so many others that have cut the cord and no longer have that cable subscription. People can't watch Thursday Night Football on NFL Network if it's not available online. And you're gonna start seeing. It might not start with the NFL. It might start with smaller things like the MLS or WWE or UFC. But they're going to figure out that they need this stuff to be available both on a cable subscription for those people, but then also without a cable subscription for everyone else. At least I hope they will.
Yeah. Well, they both have NFL and the cable companies have leverage on both sides. So I'm sure something's going to be some deal is going to be reached that's going to benefit us. At least I'm hoping so. Right now I'm beholden.
Yeah.
I can't cut the cord because I'm addicted to football. But maybe one day I can live the dream of more.
There you go. All right, everybody. I think we will call that a night. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. You can follow us on our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Google Plus and Facebook. Just search for Geekvice. You can also follow us on Twitter. That man over there, you can follow at Kip Killigan. You could follow me at Geekvice. And you can always email us and let us know what you think at geekvice@gmail.com. And we will see you next week. Happy holidays.